Let me offer my obeisances, seeking the blessings and prayers to Brahma. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Nritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindabaneswari Rishabhanu Suthe Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Canto 2, Chapter 5, Text 19. So this is a section where Lord Brahma is telling his position as how utterly dependent, uncontrolled by Krishna. Actually, not by Krishna. He says furthermore, something more. So that's about this 18, 19, 20. He says, Karya Karana Kartrutve Dravya Jnana Kriyasrayaha Badnanti Nityada Muktam Mayina Purusham Gunaha Karya Karana Kartrutve Dravya Jnana Kriyasrayaha Badnanti Nityada Muktam Mayinam Purusham Gunaha. So in yesterday's verse, Lord Brahma was telling how Krishna has accepted three modes of nature. And this verse is telling Karya, effect, Karna, cause, Kartrutve, in activities, Dravya, material, Jnana, knowledge, Kriya, Asrayaha, manifested by such symptoms, Badnanti, conditions, Nityada, eternally, Muktam, transcendental, Mayina, affected by mental energy, Purusham, the living entity, Guna, the material modes. So people don't believe if you say that we are spirit souls, or if they believe, they only believe theoretically. Yeah, like that. That's all. But They also don't believe that not only we are spirit soul, but we were always with Krishna, our God. And somehow we ended up here in this situation. So this verse explains a little bit of how we are, affected or ended up in the situation. The translation goes, these three modes of material nature, so which Krishna has accepted yesterday, being further manifested as matter, knowledge, and activities that put the eternally transcendental living entity under conditions of cause and effect and make him responsible for such activities. Purport. Because they're between the internal and external potencies, the eternally transcendent living entities are called the marginal potency of the Lord. Factually, the living entities are not meant to be so conditioned by material energy, but due to their being affected by the false sense of lording it over the material energy, they come under the influence of such potency and thus become conditioned by the three modes of material nature. This sectional energy of the Lord covers up the pure knowledge of the living entities eternally existing with him. But the cover is so constant that it appears that the conditioned soul is eternally ignorant. Such is the wonderful action of Maya or external energy manifested as if materially produced. By the covering power of the material energy, the material scientist cannot look beyond the material causes. But factually, behind the material manifestations, there is Adibhuta, Adhyatma, Adidaiva actions, which conditions the soul in a mode of ignorance cannot see. The Adibhuta manifestation entails repetitions of birth and death with old age and disease. The Adhyatma manifestation conditions the spirit soul, and the Adidaiva manifestation is the controlling system. These are the material manifestations of cause and effect and a sense of responsibility of the conditioned actors. They are, after all, manifestations of the conditioned state, and the human being is freedom from such conditioned state is the perfectional attainment. Somehow, I always see pride around, that says how much I'm covered with pride. And if I do a small thing, Krishna says, Prakrute kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasaha ahankara vimudatma kartahamit manyate. So even if I do a small thing, then I say, I did it, I am, the other corollaries after that. But Srila Prabhupada is telling, actually, your Nitya Mukta soul, Badnanti Nitya Mukta, you are bound, you are Nityada Mukta, but you are bound. How you are by what you are bound is by Maya, and how we are bound is Karya Karana Kartrutve Dravya Janma Kriyasrayaha. So I will read from Gurujan Prabhu's commentary also, 2.5.19. Yeah. So this section, Gurujan Prabhu says 18 to 33 is Lord Brahma describes the creation. It's a technical class, but I will simplify it at the end. In text 18 to 21, Lord Brahma describes the Lord's activities as the prime mover of creation. This is the idea, because until 7. Let me give a small brief. Parshit Maharaj in the previous canto asked these questions, what is the main duty of anyone, and especially person who is dying? And Sukadev Goswami, son of Vyasdev, who is author of the Vedas, he says that main duty is always remember Krishna, worship Krishna, and so on. So hearing that, inspired by Sukadev Goswami, Parshit Maharaj says, you're telling that you want me to always think of Krishna? Okay, explain me, the world I'm living in. How does Krishna create it? Or how he put it all together. So then Sukadeva Goswami says, wow, you are really right on. This is the question. It's going to bring a lot of auspiciousness to all living entities. It says, Loka Kritam Hito Nripa, he says. So let me fix my mind on Krishna first to explain it clearly. And then I'm going to quote the Samvada happened between Brahma and Narada Muni. And then the Samvada, that's where we are in, is between Narada Muni, who is the son of Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma. So he was asking, Lord Brahma, you look to be the Supreme Lord. You're doing so many things. Everything is going under your control. But I also see that you are doing meditation and so on. That means it looks like you are dependent on someone. Can you clarify a little bit? So, and then he also asked again the same question. How is this creation come about? What is the basis? What's the shelter? How did it all come about? And Lord Brahma established is actually everything is Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. That's what covered until 17th verse. That says Krishna is the Paraveda, Paramaka, and so on. Everything is covered. And then he says, before going further, I want to clarify to you that you said, I'm the Supreme Lord, but I'm not at all. And he is fixing it here in these 3 verses. I'm not Supreme Lord, but in fact, I'm completely controlled. Not even controlled by him. I'm controlled by his Maya, his own energy. So that's my situation. So you cannot think of me as Supreme Lord. So that's what the prelude to this. Lord Brahma describes the Lord's activities as a prime mover of creation. In doing so, he first reveals the difference between the Lord and the living entity, 18 and 19. So the Supreme Lord is pure spiritual form, transcendental to all material qualities, yet for the sake of creation of the material world and its maintenance and annihilation, he accepts through his external energy the material modes of nature called goodness, passion, ignorance. Once activated, these modes manifest as matter, dravya, knowledge, jnana, and activities, kriya. So the modes place the living entity, who is actually transcendental and eternal, under the conditions of cause and effect, and make him responsible for his actions. The living entity's actions are controlled, yet each remains responsible for his actions, and they result due to his sense that he is the doer and that he can enjoy through his actions. This sense of false ego and doerships allows Maya, illusion, to bind the soul. Illusion is so powerful that one is completely unaware that he is controlled. A young man sees a young woman and becomes enthralled by her beauty, or perhaps he becomes absorbed in a new car. Just imagine, he thinks, how wonderful it would be to drive that bright red car. That's it. Maya has colored the young man's vision and provided an illusory conception of the actual object. So car is there, which is red color, and living entity, passes through day after day. But one day, wow, he fixed, it becomes so attractive. See, only things, even if I could drive this car, a glitter or glow almost seems to emanate from whomever or whatever attracts us. In time, however, the glow fades and the object assumes its true nature. It appears ordinary. Again, what causes illusion is the living entity's false sense of being the enjoyer, the doer. When he no longer wishes to enjoy matter, Maya can no longer color his vision. Those who impulsively buy expensive cars, computers, or homes may chase the glitter and obtain a short-lived thrill. But then, as the illusion fades, they find themselves dealing with a mundane object rather than what they imagined they had purchased. The cause of the bewilderment, both the living entity's inappropriate enjoying spirit and Krishna's illusory potency. So, I like this verse because this is the verse that explains how there is no cause and effect in the spiritual world, and Krishna is creating cause and effect just now. So the idea what's going on here is there is living entity, which is like I, many of us. Thank you all devotees for kindly blessing your presence. And there will be some energy flowing. So everyone, including the trees, hogs, and so on. Okay. So living entities, they were happy with Krishna. And I want to change the picture. There is a picture. They were all happy with Krishna, but somehow or other, whatever reason it may be, we say that I want to have a separate enjoyment. Like how people say, I want to have a separate, home, or I want to go away, or separate room, and so on. So Krishna says, sure, but living entity says, not, without you. Okay, then Krishna gets into the dilemma. There's no place like that. And living entity is very stubborn. So this is the spiritual world, high up in the creation. And he says, I'm not going to compromise anymore. So then living entity, Krishna expands into Vishnu and carries all those living entities because they don't want to see him. So he also in a dilemma what to do. So then he starts, he's just lying down. At one point of time, living entities start waking up, they're getting agitated. After you get up from the sleep, you're like, I want to do something. We cannot sleep forever. Saying that, okay, let me create the universe. And then boom, from his skin pore, first the universe comes. That's called the pradhan, it's the primary element. And then Vishnu glances. You see here, there is a small glance going. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Am I sharing my screen? The universe?
Yes, Prabhu, you are sharing.
Okay. So small glance, and through this glance, Krishna sends two things. One is the time energy and the living entities. So when we say living entities, their desires and their, sometimes it happens repeatedly, their karma also will be there. Swabhava and karma. So he sends them both, then the magic starts. So here in this section, Lord Brahma's desire is to prove to Narada Muni, you can no way think of me of the Supreme Lord. No way, though I'm doing great activities. I'm the supreme being in the universe, and I'm doing big things. You can no way think about that. He says in the 17th verse, very nice verse. He says, Krishna is the one running the whole show. Even he creates and he inspires me to do something with his inspiration. I do something, even that also I'm doing under his supervision. He is always holding me. So I can no way claim I'm the Supreme Lord. I'm the proud person, person like me. So, he is further giving details that Krishna glances, or here Vishnu is called Mahavishnu. This Vishnu specifically is called Mahavishnu, or other names, the Karanodakshaya Vishnu. He glances at the universe elements that has come from his skin pores, that is like a dead matter. So when he glances, then what happens is it is said like a godown. It opens up the things, and it only opens up what is needed. What is needed as for the living entities, karma and swabhava. Like an example is, here is Vamsidhari Das. He is going to wanting to have a body or taking birth in India, in South India, and then in this hot weather, and then he wants to move to US, and in this cold weather, depends in karma or swabhava. People come to these situations by their own karma. You're meant to suffer, you're meant to enjoy, you get to this situation. Or people also desire, I want to go in US and enjoy. So then Krishna arranges that. In a way, karma, but swabhava also has a place. It gives an indication what's coming up, and so on. Then, coming to the food, he likes to eat, rice as a favorite. So in rice, and some other people likes to eat bread. So how does he all create this? This is all collective karma. He sends to the glands, and the pradhan starts to differentiate. He opens up the door, and takes out the things that is needed for the set of souls requirements. Okay. So this is all Vishnu is doing. That's the point Lord Brahma is wanting to make here. I couldn't do. So not only the elements get separated, but he also, let me show a different screen. Can you see this flow chart?
No, Prabhu, we are seeing only the universe one.
Universe, okay. This is the flow chart. So this is from Bhagavad Subodhini. So there he is, Karnodakshaya Vishnu, glances on the pradhan, material nature, the globe that is floating around, and then the three modes get differentiated, and then there's a creation of sattva and rajas. I mean, the three modes gets differentiated, and then ahankara is produced, the false sense. So after creating the false sense, this verse comes into the picture: Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Dravya Shakti, doer, cause, and effect energies. Until now, in the spiritual world, you want something, you don't need to pay anything. You don't need to pay money, you don't need to pay work or anything. But we said, we want things without you. And I want I want to um, claim it's my own. So then Krishna creates this doer shakti karta, which through which he creates the mind and the 10 senses. We have this eyes, nose, ear, all these things, right? How we have the cars have these lights and glasses and so on, all these things he creates. And then that is karta shakti, sorry. And kriya shakti is intelligence and the 10 senses. Again, these are the working senses. Previous ones are jnanendriyas. And then we have the senses working and knowledge acquiring senses. Now we need elements, we need dravya. So that is where affect shakti produces 5 dravyas primarily: earth, water, fire, air, ether. That's all. This creation, we see this big world, whatever permutations, different varieties we have, this is all made of just earth, water, fire, air, ether. Our body, example, this has skin, which is earth, and there's water inside, and then fire, digestive fire. There is air, controlling the prana, helping the prana, and then ether. So Brahma's proposition here is, you're saying that I'm the Supreme Lord. I'm doing, yes, certainly I'm doing high grade activities. But you know what? Where I am is under this Adidaiva, Adhyatma, and Adibhuta. I'm controlled by my mind and senses. And then there is this, like when we say just the mind and senses, there is also Krishna also creates the deities, devatas, Adidaiva, and the Karna and Karya Shaktis. This is my situation, my dear Narad Muni. So you can no way say that I am the Supreme Lord. This is very technical, and please don't bother yourself. The simple way to understand is just turn on the light. When I say turn on the light is chant the mantra nicely, Hare Krishna mantra. It's like turning on the light, then everything gets clearer. So this is the technology, like how we are in a building, how it is made is there is a foundation, there is like metal rods, and then the cement and wood and so on. It's a technology. So until now, Lord Brahma has not come in to do anything yet. That's what he is telling. After all these ingredients are created, it's like an example is also given, is we are supposed to go cook. For cooking, we need the dravya, which is like, to make a sabji, we need the vegetables and then oil and the gas and stove and everything. And then causal shakti also, and the doer also. So Krishna is the one, he's doing just all these things through just a glance. This Vishnu actually, Krishna doesn't even glance actually. Vishnu is doing just through the glance. He sends the glance and let the people create their own world and try to enjoy whatever they want as per their desires, and same thing, bring it back. So he's the one creating our tomato. He's the primary shakti on the tomato or anything else, and then gas and so on. And he's the one giving the inspiration recipe also. If he doesn't give the inspiration, we cannot do anything. And he's the one giving all the things. Only thing the living entity is doing is, I want to cook. I want to claim my own thing. I want to enjoy. Then if you want to cook, you need all these ingredients. That's when he creates this. Okay, someone go to the store, give them money, and get a gas and all those things. That's the cause and effect principles he puts into the picture, and this binds us. You want to enjoy a red color car, you have to pay 100,000. So for that, you need to work hard for 1 year or 10 years or whatever it is. That's a cause and effect. But in the spiritual world, when we're with Krishna, we don't have this cause and effect. Krishna's world is Chintamani Prakarasadma Kalpa Vriksha. So his place is made of Chintamani. You go and ask anywhere, I want a car, and you have it freely, and so on. You don't need to even ask. You might even have your own vehicles, whatever you want. There is no cause and effect there. Only here in this world. So we have to go through this. So how we can get over this? Cultivate service mode, that chant the mantra nicely in the service mode. Then we can be saved from this cause and effect, or we can be saved from our wrong, foolish thinking of, or childish thinking of, I want to be my own, enjoy, I want to have my own kingdom. That's it, Prabhuji's and Mataji's 805. I couldn't put any shorter, but that's it. Any of you like to, can you bless some inspiration, something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for so much insight on this Srimad Bhagavatam. This cripple mind, what I was thinking about, you're explaining so nicely, but my mind is telling, what software did Krishna use to make this material world happen? What is the best software they're using? Because we have tried so many softwares and still failing. What kind of software is that to, as you said, the varieties of a person's with the desire, permutations, combinations, very, very complex, and how he maintains, how he creates. We cannot manage our own mind and brain within our own family, with our children, within our society. How can Krishna can do so much? Because there are innumerable living entities in this planet, in this whole material universe. Starting from all the way from Patala to the Satyaloka. How complex, how complex Krishna has that software, and which is no bugs, nothing. It's glowing, and the sun rises exactly at the same time, and it goes on orbit, on time, on dot. Oh my God. I was just wondering about that, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling, Prabhu. Yes. Prabhupada says our mind cannot reach. It's like a frog-like mind, his frog mind like that. We are only in this small 4 walls, small Nepal, maximum United States, or to speak of rest of the, even like higher realms of Bhulok, actually, we don't even have access. So glorious Srimad Bhagavatam gives that information, and our dearmost Srila Prabhupada gives all that clarity. He's so beautiful. He is making it clear to us. He gave the process. He knows he's also holding us.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. What is the knowledge it's talking about in the verse, Prabhu? Brahma is talking about it.
The Jnana Indriyas, Prabhu.
Oh, Jnanendriyas, huh?
And also the mind is also put into that category, Jnana Shakti. So Krishna glance come, and then Mahatattva is separated, and Mahatattva further mixes with the modes. So mixing with goodness, it gets this Jnana, Jnana Shakti, or it is called in the Subodhini, it is called Karta Shakti or Jnana Shakti. So through which Krishna creates the mind and also sense devatas, 10 sense devatas. So I said it wrong. 10 sense devatas, not the sense Jnanendriyas, sorry. The sense devatas. Mind and the sense devatas, they are the ones. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the tenses are covered in the Kriya Shakti. Yeah.
Can I share half a second here?
For sure, Prabhu.
When His Holiness Japatak Maharaj came to know there is issue going on in Ukraine, somebody came and said, this is what's going on. He just lifted his hand with a pinky. And then everybody was looking at, wow, what is this, Maharaj? And Maharaj said, he was indicating Krishna can lift a pinky in the Govardhan hill. That the whole universe, whole material world is ours, just like pinky for Krishna. And what are we here? So I was thinking about how much Krishna is not even Krishna, his own expansions of Krishna can do it. How much Krishna can do it. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Just Hari Bol. Lakshmikant, Prabhu, ending the call.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.